first limited the argument to some of the specific issues in the case, and in relation to what the court wanted to hear argument on, our first concern was that the financial evidence that was put on by the city just wasn't sufficient to be able to make a determination whether they really can afford this taking, and if they get the taking, whether there'll be money left over to do all the things that they promised in relation to the system, what the rates would be, and all the other financial ramifications. We thought that their litigation strategy was to limit that evidence, get it in secondhand, but not have it really be aired effectively at the time of trial. And we thought they made a mistake by holding back on the evidence and didn't meet their burden of proof, and the court made an error by allowing that and finding that they did. So the critical aspect of it was a failure of proof. We also were concerned about the fact that the record indicated that the city itself, through the mayor, had indicated on repeated occasions that Mountain Water was doing a great job, and that Mountain Water and Carlisle were great stewards of the precious water asset, and the Clark Fork Coalition agreed. And it seems like with the DEQ and the Department of Natural Resources always also coming on board, showing how satisfied everybody is with the system, that we just couldn't understand why they moved forward with condemnation in the first place. It was important that there wasn't one word said in the trial that the highest quality of water services and the highest quality of service coming from Mountain Water was an issue. This was simply a situation where the city of Missoula wanted the water system. It doesn't need it. It doesn't need to take it. And our hope is that the Supreme Court will reverse the decision of the district court.
So what happens next, Brad? And as both sides have made their best case, and I know that there was a lot of thoughtful comment and questions from the court, what will happen next?
The court has taken it under advisement. They will consider the record and the exhibits and the arguments and, of course, all the briefing. And they will discuss generally, I think, where they want to go with it. And then someone will be assigned to do an actual opinion, and then that gets circulated around with the judges for comment. And each judge has the opportunity, if they want, to write an opinion for or against what the majority is. And we would expect in maybe 3 months, sometime this summer, that we'll get that decision out.
The point I wanted to make to the Supreme Court is that when in government, whether it's a city, state, county, takes over private business, the employees of that private business shouldn't have their wages and benefits cut. That's not what government of the people, by the people, for the people should do to the working people. If the city wants to condemn Mountain Water, it should step up and tell the employees, you're all going to keep your jobs and we're going to maintain your wages and benefits. Instead of, sorry about that ding there, instead of in their plan a 32% reduction in wages and benefits. That's serious harm to these working folks here in Missoula.
All right. Now, what happens next as far as the Supreme Court goes?
They'll issue a written decision. They'll conference. They've conferenced already to decide to have oral argument. And, of course, it was a natural fit when they go out on the road during their law week or whatever to have this case heard in Missoula, so that was great. They'll conference, they'll take votes, and then they'll assign the majority opinion to one of the judges to write and review. And, you know, Chief Justice McGrath has the court operating pretty smoothly and timely. I expect a decision 2 to 4 months. And then, of course, there's still the valuation part of the case of the district court that will also go up on appeal. And one of the issues I'm making for the employees is that the district court refused to allow the employees to put on the dollars and cents calculations of what their wage loss and benefit loss would be to each of their ages 62, you know, the earliest retirement age. She wouldn't allow that in. She said, well, we just value the desks and chairs and the land. And so I'm taking that issue up on appeal either way.
Well, now, let me ask you this, Gary. Is this the kind of case where no matter who wins, it's going to be appealed to a higher court, perhaps the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court, or all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court?
Very unlikely. It's a matter of state constitutional law. I don't think there wouldn't be an appeal to the Ninth Circuit. They could petition for a writ to the U.S. Supreme Court, but it's not an issue of federal law. It's state law. I think the U.S. Supreme Court would deny it. They deny most writs anyway, but no, Montana Supreme Court, in my opinion, is the last stop on the necessity phase, this appeal, and then the valuation part when it goes up, or if it goes up. Of course, if the Supreme Court rules there was a necessity, there won't be a need for a valuation appeal, but that would also go to the Supreme Court if there is one on the valuation issues. I could foresee another year to 15 months, yes.
And meanwhile, the costs to the city and the taxpayer keep on going up.
That's true. And an important thing that was mentioned today, right now, when Mountain Water seeks an increase, the PSC reviews it. You have the Montana Consumer Council, who's there for the ratepayers, the citizens, analyzing it, and they have experts analyzing books and records. When it's in the hands of the city, when they borrow 100% from a bond company, some finance banker back east, it'll be written in that bond that if they feel insecure that revenues aren't great enough to keep a cushion, they can require the city to raise the rates. Then it's the city council, and no appeal, no reviews by the PSC. So, I would think the citizens and ratepayers should be concerned about that. Right now, the water system works well. They admit the citizens run it well. The PSC has approved the plan for pipe replacement. That's kind of a red herring, in my opinion. It's a well-run water system. I think the issues with the city running it are fraught with dangers to the ratepayers in the system and the delivery of good, safe, reliable water. It's been run by the company for 100 years, running well. City stepping in, trying to take it over and run it overnight with no experience and no oversight on rates other than your city council. Lots of areas of concern, in my opinion.